Hey everybody, what's going on? Good to see everybody here. Welcome to our coaching call. Feels like we just did a coaching call. Didn't we just do a coaching call? Feels like we just did one. Hope everybody's doing well. And tonight is something a little special because tonight and probably next month, probably for the next 2 months, probably till the end of the year, our coaching calls are going to be public. There's going to be probably more people here than normal. And we'll explain to everybody what we're doing. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And then we're going to jump into Studio One and we're going to critique some of your guys' mixes, which is going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to give away a really cool plugin this month. We're going to give away the IK Multimedia Compressor, which is the distressor plugin they recently released. It's a $150 plugin. One lucky winner tonight is going to win that plugin. So thanks so much for joining me. We got 23 people already. This is great. So let's get some housekeeping done before we jump into the chat. Pardon me. So first thing, if this is your first time here and you are not a member of mixingmadeeasy.net, let us know in the chat. I want to say hi to everybody. What this is for people that might be saying, what is mixingmadeeasy.net and what is this whole thing about? So what we're going to do tonight is something that we do privately with my members over mixingmadeeasy.net. And I'm sure Dave will be putting, Dave, audio is good. Okay. We do over mixingmadeeasy.net. It is a mixing membership website where all of our members here, we meet once a month privately. What is mixingmadeeasy.net? You may ask, that's a great question. Dave will put the link in the chat. You can check it out. Basically what it is every month you're going to get a new song to mix with a bunch of videos, anywhere from 4 to 6 hours worth of training where you watch me mix the song from start to finish in real time. We use a different set of plugins every month. We use a different genre of music every month. I take you through the full mix in real time. It is a wonderful website to improve your mixing skills. And it's done in a very non-technical way. So if you're someone who's a beginner or even an intermediate at mixing and you need some brush up on your mixing skills or you want to level up your mixing skills, mixingmadeeasy.net is a great place for you. Now, membership is normally only open twice a year. I'm opening it a little early this year. It normally wouldn't happen until right around the beginning of the year. And then it's closed. It's a closed kind of a thing. You have to kind of join when it kind of comes up. It only comes up twice a year. But right now the doors are open. Once Dave puts the link in the chat, you can head on over to mixingmadeeasy.net. There's a video there. It teaches you all about what the website is, all the information on what you get. There's a ton of free stuff that comes along with it. And then you can sign up today if you'd like to sign up. Part of what we do every month, and part of your membership, is we meet once a month privately here on YouTube in a private call. And we have a mixing contest. So all of our members will do the mix for the month, and then they'll send me a final mix. And then we listen to some of those mixes live here in our coaching call. And I give them some feedback, some critiques. They ask questions, and then we give away a plugin. That's just one of many of the benefits that you're going to get in mixingmadeeasy.net. So definitely check that out if it's something that you're interested in. If you're into mixing, that's the place to be, hands down. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, you'll see scrolling along the bottom of the screen, on sale until Friday. Mixing in Studio One Made Easy is on sale at 50% off. So Dave will put the link in the chat, I'm sure. Go ahead and click on that and get that today. We only have, a couple of more days, and then it goes off sale and it goes back up by 50%. So if you're a Studio One user, you absolutely want Mixing in Studio One Made Easy. Go check it out. Also, if this is your first time here, make sure you like, share, subscribe to all the different social media platforms you see on your screen. Go ahead and do that, and make sure you follow me because I'm posting new stuff almost every single day at this point. So, I mean, you got stuff going up on all these social media platforms. It's all free. It's all free training, everything from videos on YouTube to podcast episodes to courses that go on sale, yada, 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 all kinds of little helpful tips. And that's what we're going to do. So let's jump over to the chat. Let me say hi to everybody. And then we'll jump into Studio One and we'll start critiquing some of our mixes, which is going to be really fun. It's a really good song this month. So let me see who we have. I got to scroll way up here. We got David SJ once again. Hey, Dave, how are you, brother? Hey, Ben, good to see that you're early this week or this month. Good for you, man. Juan, hey, how's it going, Juan? Robbie's here. Hey, Robbie, how are you? Who else is here? Juan, Robbie. Jim is here. Hey, Jim, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, Randall. Hey, Randall, how you doing? Jimmy Farmer's here. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing, Jim? Good to see you. Tony's here. Hey, Tony, what's going on? Good to see you as well. John Ludwig, how you doing? All my students are here. This is great. Anthony's here. Hey, Anthony, how you doing? Good to see you. Juan says he wants the IK Multimedia Mix Box. Don't worry, I have some licenses for that too. That'll be coming up next year. So in next year, I already got a lot of 2022's plugins already slated for next year. IK Multimedia is one of them. We the Mix Box, we have 3 or 4 licenses I'll be giving away next year. So stay tuned, Juan. Maybe you'll get one. What's going on? John's here. Hey, John, good to see you. Juan is here from Argentina. Hey, Juan, how are you? Who else? Let's scroll down here. Who else is here? Okay. Excellent. Very, very good. Good to see everybody here. Thanks so very much for joining me. Okay, if you have any questions, you can hit them up in the chat. If you have any questions about mixingmadeeasy.net, a lot of the people that are here tonight are members. Obviously, it's their coaching call. You can feel free to ask, and I will try to, while we're doing the mixing, the critiques, I won't be able to read the chat, but all these guys here in the chat, they're all members. They've all been members for a long time. They can answer any one of your questions, and then at the end of the mixing critiques, I'll do a Q&A if you guys want to ask me some direct questions, but all the guys in the chat here can be very helpful if you're interested in mixingmadeeasy.net, but go ahead and check it out. You can open up another web browser and you can watch the video. It's pretty self-explanatory. So let me get up Studio One here, and then I will get my headphones on and we will start. We have, I think, 8 or 9 mixes we're going to listen to tonight. So let me get this rolling. Should come up in a second. And here we go. Oh, I got to get some volume here. Okay, here we go. All righty, let me see here. Okay. All right, cool. So what we have on the screen here is we have 9 mixes from our students. So we get a lot of mixes sent in every month. And what I do is every coaching call, I go ahead and I try to make sure that everyone gets a chance, and we try to alternate people so we don't have we're not listening to the same mixes every month, and we try to do that the best we can. I think I've done a pretty good job so far this year, seeing as we're 10 months in. And this is great. So if you're new here and you're not a member and you're just checking this out for the first time, this is wonderful. Yeah, you get a free plugin if you win, but that really is besides the point. Yeah, it's cool to get something for free, right? Especially a cool plugin. But these guys learn so much from these coaching calls, and I'm sure they'll tell you that in the chat. It not only is part of the coaching call, but also another benefit of your membership is we have a user community, like a forum that you have a private forum you can go to. You can post your mixes up there and you get all kinds of member feedback, and guys are really helping each other in there, and it's really, really cool. We have a whole bunch of different categories in the forum, everything from help with your studio to studio gear reviews to plugin demos to mix critiques, where these guys can go up during the course of the month as they're mixing the song, and they can post, let's say, their first revision in the forum, and they'll get like 8 or 10 people, members, that will listen to their mix and respond, and they'll chime in. I'll chime in once in a while, and they'll give people some feedback, and then they'll go back and they'll make another revision, and they'll do that 2 or 3 times. Some guys will do it 5 or 6 times during the course of the month before they send me their final mix for the mixing contest. So it's a really good way to not only get some personal feedback from me every month, but to really get it from all the different members, right? So that's the greatest thing about this. And I always say this to these guys privately, and I'll say it to them publicly because they need to hear it again, is I applaud anyone that sends in their mix to a mixing contest, because I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of courage when you're new at mixing to send it in and then have me put it up here live in front of everybody and listen to your mix. It could be a little unsettling. Trust me, I've been there. And so these guys are really consistent about it. And I got to tell you, Studio One, we got the pinwheel here. Okay, we go. Let me make sure we save that. You know, that these guys now, because they send their mixes in every single month, it's a lot of the same people. And then, you know, some members will send them in every other month. Life gets in the way. We can't always do what we need to do every month. But the ones that send it in consistently, I got to tell you, and you'll hear some of it tonight, the mixes are gotten so much better in the last 8 months, year. It's really now where it becomes a lot more challenging for me to pick the mix apart, where in the beginning, it wasn't that difficult. You know, every mix had 7 problems with it. Today, that's not the case. And that's due to the fact that these guys and gals, we have some female members as well, they spend the time every month. They go through the content every month. They get a new song. They watch all the videos. They really put in a handful of hours every single month. Some do even more than that, to really try to absorb the material They send their stuff into the mixing contest. They post their mix on the user forum. They're getting all kinds of feedback, as I mentioned, and they have gotten better. And I tell any new member here that is, say, someone who just signed up in the last couple of months or someone who's thinking about signing up, I say, look, the first month you sign up, whatever mix you do, I want you to save that on your computer. Who cares how good or how bad you may think it is. 8-10 months from now, I want you to listen to the mix that we do 10 months from now, and I want you to compare your two mixes. And I tell everyone that if you spend some time with the content and you really, participate in this membership that you're paying for every month, you will absolutely get better at mixing. And I mean much better at mixing. You will. Where now I have a handful or so of students that can and are mixing music for clients. They now have a little hustle on the side and they're making some money on the side. And they're charging people money for their mixing skills because they're that good. A year and a half ago, there wasn't a single member that I can say that about, that was ready for that. Now we have some that are starting to go into that, and just some that may not want to try to make money at this, but just want to make their music the best they possibly can. It's unbelievable. So a lot of that has to do with part of sending your mix in, having people critique it. And I applaud all you guys for doing it because this is why you guys are getting better. So for anyone that's new or thinking about joining, consider that. So anyway, the first mix we're going to listen to is by Ben C. Ben C's here. Ben, you're floating around here somewhere. This is Jealousy by Brandy and the Alexanders, a really good R&B track, female vocalist, really well recorded. The other thing that we do here, and again, and for all my members, I apologize. This will be a little long-winded tonight, which, not that you haven't heard me be long-winded before, haha. The other thing that we do tonight, you're going to hear that this song is a very well-recorded track, which makes mixing it much easier. However, during the course of the year, I have all different styles of music, all different quality levels of recordings. Okay, so this one just happens to be one that was recorded very well. We've had other mixes where the song isn't recorded so well, or they're not recorded under the best conditions. Okay, this one was recorded in a more professional studio. We do a lot of mixes that are recorded in a home studio, more real world environment. And so we have all different types of levels of recording, which makes the mixing less or more difficult. The other thing we do, and then I'll get into the first song here, is that we also, for about 3 or 4 times a year, I ask the members to send me one of their productions that they're working on, and we mix as a community one of their own personal projects, okay? We've done 3 so far this year, and next year we're about to do the 4th one by Brian Hall, who happens to be here. Hey, Brian, how are you? Okay? So that's another really good way that if you want the community to mix your tracks, you can really get some feedback from a bunch of different people on one of your personal songs. We do that here as well, okay? So that's another real great opportunity for you. So let's listen to Ben's mix of Jealousy a little bit, and let's see how we did this month. Here we go.
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see. Jealousy holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. You won't let me go. Oh, 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 jealousy.
Okay, right off the bat, Ben, I'll say that it's a real clean mix. I mean that in a good way, by the way. Really clean. Very nice, very open sounding. Maybe the kick drum could be a little bit more present, but I mean, it sounds nice and clean and open.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy.
Yeah, that's why I don't hear the kick drum as well as I maybe want to. I mean, it's not bad, but I can see the low cut filter. You rolled off right around 70 or so.
Deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never happened at all. Overpower me, no instinctively, matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go.
So, I mean, you could just see, and we talk about this every month, right, guys? When we bring up the EQ, and even though we got to use our ears, but we could even see that the EQ balance is really good here from about 90 hertz up. But I feel like it's so nice and wide open, but this is R&B. And I personally would like to hear a little bit more low end here. And that's why I was looking at that low cut filter. It looks like he chopped off way at the bottom around 70, which is okay. You probably could have dialed it back a little, and that's why I can't find it because there's no information there. But I mean, the balance of the rest of it sounds really nice.
Grip me with fear. I can't prop myself out your hand. Always near me, frozen in place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. I know I got.
So on those background vocals, it should be louder. I love that they're spread out, but they're not loud enough. Let's see how we get to the end of the song here, because if I remember right, this really builds, and those background vocals should be big and wide.
To let it go, need some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Oh, fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. You keep lying to me. Just want to be free. Oh.
Sounds really good, man. It's a little hollow in the middle, but not much. Couple of dB. Again, I would just, because the top end, you got such clarity and it sounds great, but the low end I think is a little lacking. And the second thing I would say, and again, this is personal taste, the background vocals are there. I could hear them. I think I'd like to hear those background vocals a little louder. Not the oohs and the ahs. It's the whatever the background vocal, not the oohs, the other lines. They should be a little louder because they're hard to hear. But I'll tell you what, very clean mix, man. Nice. Nice job, Ben. Very, very good. Great job, my friend. Okay, who's up next? Brian Halls. Brian's floating around here somewhere. We're mixing actually Brian's song next month, which is a really good song, by the way. Really good track. You guys are going to dig that one a whole lot. A lot of great things that we're going to deal with in that mix that we haven't dealt with before around vocals and stuff, which is really cool. It's a great song. Brian did a great job. Anyway, here we go. Brian's mix here, Jealousy. Let's take a listen. Oh, he's got vinyl. Abbey Road vinyl, or something like Abbey Road vinyl.
Jealousy, take 7.
And he left all that in the beginning. That's cool.
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see. Jealousy holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me...
Okay, so just, again, so far so good. I love the little vinyl thingy you got going on in the beginning. Okay, so just so we can just all kind of, what we were just talking about, a mix that was a little lacking in low end. Look at the EQ curve here and how much more low end there is in this song.
Looks so green in the eye.
And you see where the cutoff is? Look where the roll off is. It's right around 65.
Oh, you overpower me.
Actually, it's around 55. That's why we hear the bottom low end. It's probably a little too much, but no, let's just go.
So instinctively, matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. You won't let me go. Oh, 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 jealousy.
Heavy in the kick drum, but in this music, if you had to choose, again, this is all personal preference, just something to think about. And if you listen to music, reference tracks in this style of music, I think you would be better off with a little too much kick drum, little too much low end than not enough low end. Because this style of music, you want to have low end in it. Okay. If it was like metal, for example, it would probably be the other way around. You could probably err on the side of caution of a little too much, little less boominess. In R&B, you can have a little bit more, but it's a little heavy.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy.
It's actually distorting. Am I right about that?
Deep in my soul.
Let's go back and listen.
Jealousy.
Right there. So there's a kick drum hit that's distorted. So you got a little bit too much low end there. You're clipping. Listen one more time. I know it's hard to hear on a stereo track for everybody keeping score. Just listen to when, right before that vocal line comes in.
Jealousy.
Right there. And I took out some EQ. If I put that EQ move back in, it's right here.
Jealousy.
Hear it? Right on the word jealousy.
Jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy. Deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never happened at all. You overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. Grip me with fear. I can't prop myself out your hands. You're always near me, frozen in place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh.
Did this cat add a guitar solo? I love it. See, these guys take chances too. And that's okay. You're allowed to take chances. I love that. I always applaud creativity, even if I think it's going in the wrong direction, but it means you're being creative and there's nothing wrong with that. I got to hear this thing now. So now here's the question. Is that guitar solo going to overpower the vocal? Let's see. Let's dial it back a little.
You're always near me, frozen in place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. I know I got to let it go, need some self-control. Look what you do.
Not bad. Yeah, you panned it over so it doesn't get in her way too much. Good solo, good solo, good solo. I like it. I like the creativity. I like the ends with the little repetitive lick. The only thing I would say about the guitar solo, again, you know, I'm just giving you an opinion. You can throw it right in the trash if you don't want it. It's a good solo, but it starts off, I think maybe if you could have built it with a little less playing on the front end and built it to a climax, it feels like you came out of the gate with all your, you know, with guns a-blazing and there's no build. That would be the only thing that I would think of. And again, I can't think in my head right off the top of my head what I would play in place of that because you're a great player. I just wonder from an overall production point of view, I just wonder if I would have maybe started that solo a little bit more subtle. And then as she gets a little bit louder at the end, maybe then, you know, blow it out the back end. But I mean, great. It's great. I like it. Good job. Too much low ends. It's distorting. I think you said somewhere in the chat that's by design. If you're hitting plugins too much where it sounds like it's clipping, you shouldn't design that. I'm just telling you. Because as soon as I heard that, I said, the thing is clipping. It hits like you're hitting the master bus too much. Just be careful with that. Remember, and again, I don't know what plugins you use, but we talk about this every month, right? In all the videos, you guys see it. Remember, when you start using lots of plugins, if you're using lots of plugins, a lot of you guys use third-party plugins, and you're using things like tape machines, and you're using things like saturation plugins, and you're using things like console emulation, and then you're using some maybe analog-style plugin emulations like 1176s and vintage EQs and all of that. Remember that every single one of those plugins does it actually is 3 plugins in one, right? And I'll say this for the benefit of the people who aren't members that haven't heard me say this yet, but these are the kinds of things that I'm going to teach you every single month. There are 3 things that those plugins do. They are saturators, distortion, call it whatever you will. They are compressors, and they are EQs, right? Every single one of those, okay? A console emulation plugin like the Waves NLS or the Slate Digital or whoever, or even the PreSonus stuff, the Brit console, the Alpine Desk, even their console shapers. Yes, they're emulating a console, but they're emulating an analog piece of gear that when you run audio through it, you are compressing it, you are EQing it, you are shifting the tone to some degree, and you are saturating it. So when you have in your session all those types of plugins on each individual track on your buses and on your master bus, every time, in this case, a kick drum runs through a tape machine, it's running through a compressor, an EQ, and a saturator. If then it goes to a console emulation, it's hitting another level of EQ, saturation, and compression. And then if it goes to, let's say, a drum bus and it hits another compressor, it's another saturation, compression, EQ. And then it goes to a master bus and hits a compressor and maybe hits a tape machine, that's 2 more. So you can have anywhere from 5 to 7 to 8, depending on what kind of plugins you use, levels of saturation. In all that little saturation, if you're not careful or if you're hitting one a little too hard and the gain staging is not quite right, it will sound distorted at times when you get real heavy kicks. Like on that kick drum, it only distorts in a couple of places where the kick drum's the transient's a little too heavy. For the most part, it's not. Okay. So just be aware when you guys use those kinds of plugins that you got to be aware of what they're really doing. And most people are not aware of it. They don't know. You guys know because you guys have been working with me for a long time. But most people it's people that are new, they don't know that. Okay. That's one of the reasons why when people transfer from stock plugins to third-party plugins and they go out and they run out and they buy all these third-party plugins because they saw a bunch of cool YouTube videos, they get their plugins and they don't sound right. Or they don't sound the way they think they ought to sound, or they can't make it sound like the video they saw on YouTube. And that's because they don't understand the philosophy behind the way these plugins work. You guys do. And so just be aware of that. But I mean, overall, great mix, great guitar solo. You're a good player, man. You're a really good player. Okay. Thanks for sending that in. Now we're going to go to Randall. Randall, you're here, right? Thought you were here. And for anybody that's watching on the replay, just so our non-members know, we record all these calls, and then this call is put on the website in mixingmadeeasy.net. So for people in different time zones and such, because we have members from all over the world, they can't watch us live, so they'll watch the replay. So they have access to this even if they can't see it live. Okay, here we go. We're going to go with Randall. Randall, if you're here, how are you?
Jealousy
What's that? Sorry about that, guys.
shows me things I don't want to see.
Okay, so right out of the box, let's listen to this lead vocal. Listen to how it's very pokey. Needs a little bit more compression on this thing. You can hear a couple of words, and I'll point them out once we get there.
Jealousy
The word jealousy.
shows me things I don't want to.
And shows me things. So jealousy and shows. Listen to the jealousy and the shows. That needs to be compressed more. It hits you like, it's like, whoa, it hits you like right in the face.
Jealousy
Little more compression, Randall, a little bit more.
shows me things I don't want to see.
Nice and clean though.
Jealousy holds me back from who I'm meant to be.
And this vocal seems, because again, we just have a vocal and a piano here. The vocal should come down a little bit, and at least in this section, I feel, and the piano should be a little bit louder. The vocal obviously needs to be the star of the show, no question. But the piano seems like it's buried here, and because it's the only other instrument in the track, you may want to bring that up.
Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying
Okay, here's another mix where we have that the roll-off is really high.
to me, that the grass ain't.
You're rolling off everything at about 100 hertz and down, so that's why we don't hear the bottom end of the kick at all. So you may have a low-cut filter somewhere where you weren't aware that you had it, or maybe you did something on the master bus.
So green, I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. Oh, 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 jealousy. Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy, deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never happened at all. Oh, you overpower me so instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. You grip me with fear, I can't pry myself out your hands. You're always near me, I'm frozen in place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. I know I got.
So just like on one of the other mixes we listened to, Randall, I think those background vocals need to be louder and a little bit wider. And again, the mix sounds pretty clean, except that there's just a real lack of low ends in this.
To let it go, need some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Oh, fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. You keep lying to me. I just want to be free. Oh, 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 oh.
Nice and clean. Nice balance, Randall. Nice job. Again, just the low end. There's a little bit of honkiness in the middle, but again, I only took out about a dB, so that's neither here nor there. It's really just the low end. Again, it feels like it doesn't feel like the song has a whole lot of energy because the energy comes from the low end typically, especially in a slower track like this that's a little bit more ballady. But other than that, it's a nice clean mix. Good job, man. Good job. All right, James Chisholm's up. James, what's going on? Okay, let's see. Here we go. James?
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see. Jealousy holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome.
That low end is perfect. So up till this point, we've had one with a little too much low end, a couple with not enough low end. This low end is right where I think it ought to be. Kick drum is nice. It's not too boomy, but it cuts. You could hear it. You can hear the click.
I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. You won't let me go. Oh, 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 jealousy.
Great snare, reverb as well. Perfect. Sounds great.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy. Deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never happened at all. You overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. You grip me with fear. I can't prop myself.
Well, that's the mix to beat so far. Let's hear the background vocals. Let's see if you got those background vocals nice and loud.
Seems, oh, you fill my head with lies. You keep me paralyzed. I know I got to let
It could be a little louder. The rest of the mix sounds great.
it go. Need some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Oh, fill my head with lies. You keep me paralyzed.
It's a good mix, brother. Nice mix, Jim. Well, that's the one to beat so far. Let's color him blue. He's in the lead. Good job. The low end of that is perfect, in my opinion. The only thing I would change in that mix is I would just make sure not the oohs and the ahs. Those sound okay. It's that other background vocal line should be a little louder. To me, I envision that it's almost like it's a church choir. It should be ba 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 ba. We should be loud. It's not loud enough, in my opinion. But outside of that, great mix. Okay, Mark's up. I don't know if Mark's here. Here we go. You guys are all doing a great job.
Jealousy
A lot of white noise.
shows me things I don't want to see.
Okay, Mark, I hope you're here because I'd like to know what that is. If you're not and you're watching the replay, my guess is that's a tape machine plugin of some kind. Okay. So here, just listen to the beginning of this.
Shows me me things I don't want to see.
That's called a noise floor. That's what you used to get in the analog days, if that's tape, or he's using vinyl or some kind. He's using something that replicates that. And a little bit of that is okay, especially in a quiet piece like that. It gives its analog sound, but that usually means that either on that vocal or on the piano or one of the open tracks, he's got it pushed. He's got that input turned up way loud on that, and you can hear all the noise floor.
Jealousy.
And it's okay. It's a cool effect. Just that should be, if you want to hear a little of that, which I think is cool because it gives you that analog-y thing, just it should be lower than that. That's distracting from the vocal and the piano, in my opinion.
Shows me things I don't want.
It's louder than the piano, the white noise. So just be careful of that.
Jealousy.
Oops.
Holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look
Sounds
so
good too.
green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively.
Okay, so nice low end. Maybe a little heavy, but nice. Okay. Listen to the vocal, everybody. Let's listen to the vocal, and I want to hear the certain words again. Again, the compression is a little light. This just gets very dynamic on certain words. Listen.
Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me.
The power, right?
Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. You won't let me go. Oh, jealousy.
So remember now, on those, if you have a vocal that has just a few handful of words that really jump out at you, you remember your compressor. If you're setting your compressor to kind of work on the whole track, if you set it to really tame those one or two words, it may be now way over compressing the rest of the vocal. So you remember how I go in, you guys have seen me go in and where you cut it out and you manually clip gain those one or two words to turn it down. So you're kind of manually compressing before you hit the compressor. Then it doesn't make the compressor work so hard, right? The other thing you can do is you can stack compressors. You can put a compressor just to kind of even out the performance and then another one to kind of put the color in. But either way.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy. Deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never happened at all. You overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. Grip me with fear. I can't prop myself out your hands. You're always near me, frozen in place where I stand.
So it sounds pretty good. It's on the dry side. The vocal's got a nice reverb on it, and everything else sounds really dry. But if that's just a stylistic choice by you, totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. I took a little out in the low end at 50, but not much. Let's hear these background vocals and see how you did there.
To let it go needs some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Oh, fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed.
background vocals could have been a little louder there. Again, no one seems to hit that thing where I think it ought to sit. But really good mix. A little dry, but again, that's okay if you did that purposely. Maybe a touch, a little too much 50, but it's a really good mix, Mark. You did a good job, brother. Nice job. Oh, and the vocal. Remember, again, if you got some of those words that are poking out, you got to deal with that. Especially in the beginning where it's just her and piano. If it's got these one words that are so in your face and you kind of hurt your ears, you got to be sensitive to that. Okay, who's up next? Robbie Craig, right? Yeah, Robbie's up. I think Robbie's here. Here we go, Rob.
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see. Jealousy holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. You won't let me go. Oh, 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 jealousy.
See, nice low end. The bass is a little muddy. I took a little out at 150, but it's not bad. It sounds pretty good.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart.
Same thing. And it got some cool or some strange reverb happening on the drums or on the snare. What'd you do there? It's like I don't know what that is. I mean, it's a reverb, but it's got a weird sustain to it. I mean, it's kind of cool. I don't know if you were doing that for an effect.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy. Deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never happened at all. You overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. Grip me with fear, I can't prop myself out your hands. You're always near me, frozen in place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed.
Okay, so that background vocal's closer. That's probably here's how loud. It should be even a tad louder than that. But this is probably where I think those background vocals should sit, although you should spread them out a little more.
Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. I know I got to let it go, need some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Oh, jealousy, oh, jealousy, oh, jealousy.
pretty good on the background vocals. The only thing is, as that song builds up at the end, sounds like the vocal tends to get a little buried. Sounds like the organ is louder than the vocal a little bit, but I mean, you could still hear it. You could still hear her very well. So that's a good mix. The only thing I would say is you got a little bit of boominess in the bass there, and I took a little out at 1.2 just to get a little bit of the nasally effect away from her vocal. But other than that, it was a good mix, man. Nice job. Guys got some good, and good on the background vocals. Good. Who's up next? Steve's up. I don't know. Steve's here. What's that?
Jealousy.
That was weird. The beginning of his song got cut off a little bit. Maybe that's the way he exported it.
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see.
Okay, so we got those words, jealousy and shows. Listen to the word jealousy and shows.
Jealousy
Hits you right in the face.
shows me things I don't want to see. Jealousy.
There it is again. So we might be able to, for the benefit of people that are not members here, if they've never seen this done before, we might be able to do this on the stereo track quickly because there's only her voice. Okay, so if you have something like this, right there, if you don't want to do it with a compressor, now you got to do this on the lead vocal, right? You can't just do it on a stereo track like this, but we're going to try this. I just want to show you the concept. Again, because the compressor, if it's not set heavy enough, you can always come in and do something like this. You can cut on either side of the word, the J, and you can just turn that down. And usually 4 or 5 dB is usually a good starting point. Now again, it may not work here because we're on a stereo track.
Jealousy.
That's 100 times better. Okay, listen to this. Here's before.
Jealousy.
Here's after.
Jealousy.
Now again, there's a little a click and a pop there because I cut it on a stereo track and I wasn't disciplined enough to do a crossfade, but we'll do that now. For you guys playing at home, keeping score. But that's exactly what I would do on the lead vocal track when we were doing the mix.
Jealousy.
Hear how much more pleasant that is, and it doesn't hit you like, whoa, jealousy hits you right in the ear.
Holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively, no matter where I run.
So here's another song where
I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me.
we got a roll off starting at about 120, which is way high. And that's why there's no low end in this, or a little lacking of kick drum.
That the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. Oh, 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 jealousy. Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart.
Nice little delay on that. That was nice on the end of that line. I don't know if it's through the whole vocal, but nice little delay throw.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart.
Cool.
Oh, jealousy. Deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never happened at all. Oh, you overpower me so instinctively, no matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. You grip me with fear only place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed.
That's where the background vocals ought to be, except the lead vocal needs to be a little bit louder. It's a little overpowering to the lead vocal. But do you hear, I'm going to back it up. Do you hear where the oohs and the ahs and then that ad lib comes in? This is the first mix where we can actually hear what they're singing.
Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. I know I got
Now, if you just get the lead vocal to sit on top of that, it's a perfect blend.
to let it go, need some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Oh, fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. Just keep lying to me. Just want to be free. Oh, jealousy.
So good. Nice job on the background vocals. So the only thing this mix lacks is a little bit of low end. And again, the low cut filter is way up at around 100 and some odd. So a couple of things about that. Again, this may not be your case, Jim, or excuse me, Steve, is that if you're making those cuts because in your mixing environment, if you're mixing with studio speakers, that you got a lot of low end and you feel like you got to roll that off, you can have an acoustic treatment and you have a room problem, right? The low end is the hardest thing to get right in a home studio. It's very, very difficult. We talk about this a lot, right? We talk about this all the time. It's extremely difficult. The low end is the hardest thing to get to translate, and it's usually because of the environment. It's usually because of the room, the lack of an ideal room, which we all have a lack of an ideal room in a home studio, the lack of acoustic treatment or properly placed acoustic treatment. And then some of it will also have to do with your monitoring system. And what I'm getting to is, are you hearing the low end accurately in your space? And it could be one of 50 reasons, but those are the big three, right? Acoustic treatment, room, monitoring system. And so if you're not hearing the low end accurately, you're making EQ decisions based on what you're hearing, which are probably perfect decisions based on what you're hearing, but then the mix doesn't translate, right? You go out of your room, you send it to me, you go into the car, whatever, and the low end doesn't sound right. It's either usually way too much or not enough. And so I don't know that that's the problem here, but that tends to be the issue with low ends. So we got to examine, what are you doing for acoustic treatment? What kind of room are you in? What speakers you're using? What's your monitoring system like? So we can help determine why in a mix like this would we have a low cut at 130 hertz. That's really high on a song, on any song, anything that has drums in it, right? So we got to look at that. And I'd love to talk to you about it, Steve. If you're not here, I don't know if you're here, but if you'll watch it on the replay, email me, right? When you get a chance, let me know. And if we need to hook up on Zoom or whatever and, talk through it, we will. Okay. All right. Thanks, Steve. Okay. 2 more mix. We got Tony's up. Let's listen to Tony's mix. Whoa, that's loud. Hot, hot, hot.
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see. Jealousy holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. Oh, 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 jealousy. Jealousy, ripping it apart.
Nice and clean, nice and open, very present. Little low end lost here. I got a little bit of a bump here around 70. It's 2.3 dB. A lot of white noise in this one too. Again, a lot of hiss, which again, I know is part of the whole analog thing. I do it in all my mixes. You guys hear it. But again, be careful that you're not just, if you're doing that purposely, great, if that's your choice. But just realize, again, and we talk about a lot every month about reference tracks, and we're going to go back to it again, and you guys are going to love what we do in next month in November when we do Brian's mix and we talk about reference tracks. You guys will have to know what that is when you watch the videos. But when you listen to reference tracks, you don't hear that kind of noise floor in commercial music. You don't. You hear a little, right? If you're trying to go for that analog vinyl kind of sound, cool. Just don't overdo it. This is probably because you got a gain staging issue in one of these plugins or multiple plugins like tape. So just be careful about that when you get to songs like this that have a lot of quiet passages. You just got to be careful about that.
Jealousy. You take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy. Deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they maybe never have been dead. Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. You grip me with fear. I can't prop myself out your hands. You're always near me. I'm frozen in place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. I know I got to let it go, need some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Oh, fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. You keep lying to me. I just want to be free. Oh.
Pretty good job. Background vocals again could be louder. Again, we had a little bit of low end in this, not too much, few dB, just to get a little bit more pump. A little bit, it's a noisy mix. Again, that kind of whatever it is, tape hiss or whatever it is. Again, just be careful about that. It's just or you know, when the band kicks in, you don't really hear it. It's in the quiet passages. Okay, you don't want anything, whatever it is, whatever special effect or whatever you're doing. You don't want anything to distract you from the lead vocal when all you have in the track is a lead vocal and a piano, right? If your ear is distracted from the vocalist because you're listening to tape hiss or whatever it is, or a special effect or any kind of, you know, crazy thing, that's not good, right? So just be careful about that. But other than that, man, great mix, Tony. Nice job. All right, last mix of the night. John's up, John Ludwig. John, I think you're here, right? Thought I saw you in here somewhere. All right, here we go, John. Let's listen. Oh, should turn down Tony and turn up John, right? That'd be helpful. Here we go.
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see.
So hear how quiet that mix is. I mean, the noise, the white noise level, or the tape hiss level. Just listen to how quiet that is. Once she starts, the piano kicks in.
Jealousy shows me things I don't want to see.
Nothing gets in the way of her voice.
jealousy holds me back from who I'm meant to be. Why you gotta make me feel so defeated? Why you make me look so green in the eye? Oh, you overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so. Jealousy, you take your knife and you cut it through my heart. Oh, jealousy, deep in my soul, ripping it apart. Make me think that things have come to pass when they make.
Okay, so we got low end is, I mean, this is the extreme of what we were talking about earlier. A lot of low end in this between the bass and the kick. So I already taken out about 6 dB and it's still too much.
Maybe never happened at all. You overpower me so instinctively. No matter where I run, I just can't overcome. I know that you're lying to me, that the grass ain't so green. I know it isn't so, but you won't let me go. You grip me with fear. I can't pry myself out your hands. You're always near me. I'm frozen in place where I stand. Oh, jealousy, stop your lying to me. It's not what it seems. Oh, you fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. I know
So again, background vocals need to be louder. Even the oohs and the ahs need to be louder here.
I got to let it go, need some self-control. Look what you're doing to me. I know that I'll never be free. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Ah, jealousy. Oh, fill my head with lies, you keep me paralyzed. You keep lying to me. I just want to be free.
Okay, so nice job. But we have a lot of low end here. It's really woolly and very low mid heavy here. So there's a lot between that bass kick relationship. It's a little bit boomy, a little bit muddy, and it's got a lot of mid range in it. I took about 5 dB out at almost 600. But if you can clean up the low end, I think you got a pretty good mix there. And the background vocals need to be, I think, a little louder, John. All right, so great job, everyone. So this month, James Chisholm, Mr. James, congratulations, brother. You are the lucky winner of an IK Multimedia compressor plugin, which is the distressor plugin. Did a review on the channel here. You can check out the archives. Email me tomorrow if you would, and I will send you the license number for it. Good for you. Really good job, everyone. Thanks again for everyone for sending in your mixes. You guys are great, and I applaud all of you. Let's go back to the chat, and if you guys have any questions at all about anything, and any of our new members here or visitors here to our little party, welcome again. Again, once again, make sure you go out to mixingmadeeasy.net. If this is the kind of stuff you want to learn to get better at, go try it. You'll think you'll really like it. A lot of the members here have been here for a long time, and every month there's always something new to learn. And if you really want to get better at the craft of mixing, the only way to do it is to keep mixing and to keep practicing and mix as many songs as you can, but then more importantly, to have a community of people that will help you get better. Not just me, because I'm only one person's opinion, right? So when you put your mix in the user forum and you have 12 people, comment on your mix, you'll start to hear patterns. You'll start to see patterns, right? Some people, if you start to see a pattern, well, there's too much top end on your mix, for example, and 6 people say that to you, then you probably got too much top end on your mix. You're not just listening to good old Uncle Dave here, but you're listening to me and 15 other people that are out in the forums consistently every day, every month, and they're posting mixes. So it's the only way you get better at this is to do this. And I think there's a lot of variety here inside of what we do every single month. So go check that out for sure. Make sure you go check that out. And again, if you're a Studio One user, make sure you're also checking out the sale on mixing in Studio One. It ends on Friday, so go check that out. Again, Dave will put the links in the chat. Now, if anyone has any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them for you. Great job, everyone, once again. And yes, next month we're doing Brian Hall's song that he did with his partner there. She's a wonderful singer. And they did a Martha McBride cover called Independence Day. It was a really well produced track. A lot of great things there, and included in that package is I give you guys the actual Martha McBride songs. You'll have a reference track to play along with, and that was a lot of fun to mix. Brian did a wonderful job, so that's cool. Let's see, any questions at all? If you typed something up above and I didn't see it, please type it again if you wouldn't mind. That would be wonderful. And again, for all the people that anyone that isn't here live tonight will get a chance to see this on the website tomorrow. It's usually up by tomorrow mid-morning. You'll see it inside of your account. You just log in, go to the coaching call section, and you will see the coaching call there, so you can check that out. Okay, any questions at all? Any questions? It was like 30 people hanging around. That's really cool. All right, come on, hit me up. You got me here for a few more minutes. Let's see. Mixing in a vacuum teaches nothing. Comparing mixes is awesome way to learn and have fun. Randall, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The only way you're going to get better if you just sit in your room and just mix and just judge your own mixes, you will never get any better. You won't. So the only way to really get better at mixing is to, number one, mix as much music as you can, and then to get many people to critique your mixes, right? And you take all of it with a grain of salt. But you will start to learn when someone objectively listens to your mix, you'll start to learn things from that for sure. So it's definitely the best way to do it. Bill said, did anyone substitute the drums with sampling? I don't know. Hey, Bill, how are you? I don't know if anyone did that. Let's see. After listening to these great mixes, I think I'll retire. All right, Jim. Excellent. Thanks for joining tonight and glad you came. Juan says, very good experience for my first time. Awesome. Great, man. Well, again, if you want more about this stuff, go check out mixingmadeeasy.net and you could be a part of our wonderful community. It's less than $1 a day. And you get a ton of training and a ton of freebies as well. And again, this is only open a couple of times a year. So it's not open all year round where you can join whatever you want. This is only going to be open until probably the weekend. And then it's going to close down again until next year. So it's a private club. I don't look for the most amount of members. I look for a small, real, quality set of members and students that are really serious about learning mixing. So check that out. If you're interested, Robbie's got to go. See you later, Robbie. Have a good night. Hope you had a good time, and I'll see you soon. Let's see. Brian says, from a workflow, I'm debating between the FP8 and the UF8. The UF8 or the FP8? Oh, you mean the fader port of UF8? Oh, they're about the same amount of money, right, Brian? Pretty close. If money wasn't the difference, your decision making, and I would tell you to pick the FP8 over I'd say the UF8 all day long, by a long shot. It's a much more high quality piece than the fader port by PreSonus, in my opinion. But I think the fader port might be a little less money. So the fader port's a great unit, but the UF8 is a much better unit, in my opinion. But because you can control plug-in parameters and a lot of the things you can't do with the fader port 8, and it's just a better quality piece. But that's just my opinion. Oh, you already have the FP8. Oh, okay. Well, then what the hell do you need? What do you need? What do you need a UF8 for? Tony's got to go. All right, Tony. See you later, man. Great seeing you tonight. Great job. Brian says, oh, with the UC1. Oh, you have a UC1, right? Is that what you're saying? You have a UC1 and you want to know if the workflow would be better with a UF8 or a fader port? I don't know. I would, the UC1 with the UF8 is like killer. You know, I'd sell the fader port and get some money and buy the UF8. That's what I would do. But that's just me, and I'm stupid and crazy like that. So, but if you're just looking at the UF8 does more than the fader port does, and it's a better quality piece. It's better built for sure. And so anyhow, let's see. Jim says, is the UC1 a good buy? It is if you use you're going to use the solid state logic, the SSL version 2 channel strip, right? So if you're going to use that with the bus compressor, it's wonderful. I used it. I had it here. I did a mix on mixingmadeeasy.net with it, I don't know, 2-3 months ago. I've since sold it because I have the UF8 and it does the same thing. But the UC1 is a killer piece. You feel like you're really working. It really feels like the same kind of controls, the same size of the EQ and compression knobs as it does on the console that I have behind me. You feel like you're working on a console. It's that good build quality. However, though, the only thing about the UC1 that people, I know they realize it, but just something to don't forget is that the only thing that's good for is the solid state logic channel strip version 2 and the bus compressor version 2. It doesn't control any other plugins, at least not as of now. Where the UF8, the difference there is the UF8 can control the parameters of any plugin with a real quick, easy mapping, and you only have to map a plugin once and you never have to map it again. You open up different sessions and it controls all the same things. The UC1, when you look down at it, it looks just like an SSL console and it's got a cooler look to it. But the UF8 does everything that the UC1 does, from what I can tell, but it does a lot more. And so the UC1's a good buy. If you're just using those 2 SSL plugins, and that's pretty much what you're going to use most times, that UC1 is really cool. It is. It's really cool. Okay, let's see. Brian says, thanks, David. You're welcome, Brian. Anytime, brother. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Going once, going twice, and then I'm going to head out of here if you guys are done. Jim, make sure you email me tomorrow whenever you see this, and I will get you your license and enjoy that compressor. It's really cool. If you don't have a distressor plugin, they did a very, very good job on it. I think you'll dig it. All right. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Nothing at all? Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody. Thanks to all the members again. Thanks to all the people that came that are not part of mixingmadeeasy.net. Hopefully you at least learned something tonight and you enjoyed the broadcast if you did. And again, I hope to see you over at mixingmadeeasy.net. Check it out. Go watch the video on the website. If you have any questions, you can certainly email me. And I hope to see some of you maybe in our community really soon. Okay, so thanks everybody. And I will see all of my members next month. Bye, everybody.